And we're back. It's Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. My name is DC Marshall. He's Alfred Edmond Jr., and you are listening to Be Lifted Up. So this show, everybody, we talk here about finances and faith. But today we have an amazing guest. I've been following Dr. Trimm for many years, and many of you have been following. You have several of her books, or you maybe tapped into a program or her work. She's a multifaceted woman. What I love about Dr. Trimm is she's a woman of faith, but she's also a strategist and leadership development. You all know that's what I do at my company, Diverse and Engage. So anybody who can connect the dots between faith and what it is that God says, and connected to leadership development and us taking responsibility for who we are, I am a fan. Yes. But I want to bring us up to today. Dr. Trimm has a new book. It's called Unstoppable. And so I just want to lean in there. Everybody, you need to get the book. For those of you who are stuck like me on Commanding Your Morning, no, we're not talking about Commanding Your Morning. Hashtag Unstoppable. In fact, online right now, everybody hashtag Unstoppable at Dr. Cindy Trimm. Just go search right now. And now, Dr. Trimm, can you take us into your current book, Unstoppable? What led you to write the book? What is about? What would you like to share? What do we need to know about Unstoppable?
I get a lot of interviews. I was talking to a friend of mine, Les Brown, and we were talking about experiences that we had. And he was stuck on two particular experiences that I shared with him. And this book grew out of that because so many people were just stuck and they didn't know how to get out of that cycle. I call it a stutter. When you stutter, you repeat things over and over. So people were in this stuttering phase in their lives. And he asked me a couple of questions. I thought, well, this will be a great book and a sequel to what I wanted to do with women. So I've moved in a space of mentoring women. And the first book I wanted to write is The Unstoppable: Compete with Your Best Self and Win. Because a lot of us believe that we're competing with other people when we're actually not. There's a path that God has given us. He has a place for you, a space for you, a race for you, a grace for you. And nobody can take the grace from you, cannot take your space or occupy your place. They cannot. It's impossible. And so in writing this book, I wanted to write it for women as well as men that love women, or men that have girls that they really want to see succeed in life. So it's for everyone, basically, on what to do with situations when it looks like all the odds are stacked up against you. How do you become an odd-defying individual? How do you overcome the odds that are stacked up against you financially, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, professionally? And I wrote this book. It's about tapping into your own power source and knowing that you're unstoppable. And in this book, I tell this story, two stories. One story is about when I was 5 years old. I was in a race, and it was a shoelace race. And I didn't realize that you had to know how to tie your shoelace. I grew up in a family of 7. I was only 5, and everybody tied my shoelace. I guess it was easier to tie them than to teach. So I was in this shoelace race. They said, put your sneakers at the starting line, take a couple of steps back, and then you run, put your shoes on, tie your shoelaces, and then head towards the finish line. So it was on your mark, get set, go. We all started running. I'm just 5 years old and running with everyone. Everyone put their shoes on. I put my shoes on. And then one by one, they left. And I was left there by myself. And they said, Cindy, come on. But I knew that there were rules that I didn't know. And I refused to go. And so I had little tears coming down my eyes. And my teacher came and said, Cindy, I'll tie them for you. And I said, no, I need you to show me. So while the race, I was holding up this whole school sports, and she tied one, and I learned how to tie my shoe on the fly. And for us in life, there are so many people that have abilities to do more in life, to go further, but they are stuck. And this is what they do. Ready, aim, 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 aim. And sometimes you just got to go after your dreams like it's the last bus at night and acquire the skills as you run. And that's about unstoppable. You pick up as you go. A lot of us are waiting for things to get better, waiting for our children to get older, waiting for a promotion. This is what I tell people when they call me, they say, how are you doing? I say, I'm on top of the world, still rising and making waves that other people ride. We are not waiting for people to open doors for us. Build your own door and open it for yourself. And that's what unstoppable is all about, you know?
That's such a strong point in relation to resilience, because many of us believe when I become resilient enough, I will do that. I will take on that challenge. I will take that action. When it's really the opposite, based on what you're saying. By doing it, I become more resilient. Exactly. By doing it, I become ready. I'm prepared as I do. It's not, I prepare first and then I do it. Do you agree with that?
I agree with it. And a lot of people are stuck in their past. I often say that your past is too heavy to drag into your future. So you might as well let it go. And then there's one more thing that I say to people, that your worst mistake and your worst day in your life is not, it can't even compare to the greatness that is on the inside of you. You are greater than your worst mistake and bigger than your worst failure. And you've got to believe that. I say people that make mistakes and people that fail are the most courageous people ever. At least they try. So, you know, life is full of lessons and you've discovered a way not to do something. And if you would accept, those that are listening, that where you are right now, you paid to be here. You paid with your time, you paid with your energy, you paid with your focus. And we live in an intention-driven economy. So if you don't like where you are, all you have to do is change what you think about it, what you look at, change what you focus on, change your attention, change where you spend your energy, and then change your habit. That's the secret to life. Life happens at the speed of a habit. Life is about strategies. So don't blame yourself for making a mistake or messing up. That's too much of a burden for anyone to carry on their own. This is what I tell people. If you don't like where you are, you can be somewhere else if you only know where else is, because your feet will never take you where your mind has never been. So change how you spend your energy, change your focus. And if we live in an economy that is driven by attention, an attention-driven economy, then there are certain things and certain people that you should never focus on. Focus on your future and not your past. And you'll end up having a future that is far bigger and greater than you can ever imagine. The power is on the inside of you. You've got something to give this world that only you can give. And you might as well show up unapologetic, and you might as well become unstoppable, because you absolutely are. Everybody's looking for a superhero. Why can't that superhero be you?
I'm just sitting here being poured into. But again, as Dee said, I don't know what to say, but I'm just connecting the dot. We have attention, what we're paying attention to. It's intention, setting an intention, because if you don't set an intention, you won't do anything. And then it's action, following that attention, and it's also not carrying past baggage along the way that it doesn't fit your intention. That's really critical to, again, being resilient, being disciplined, and making progress and not being stuck. Listen, we're listening to Dr. Cindy Trimm. This is Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life. We'll be right back.